do we measure this connection gap without just relying on a gut feeling? And that's where the trust battery comes in. So it'd be good to have a piece of paper handy in a moment, because what I'm going to be asking you to do is thinking about those professional relationships that you have. And if you think of every professional relationship that you have as a battery, every time you follow through on a promise, you demonstrate your vulnerability, you support a colleague, then you're charging that trust battery. But every time there's a missed deadline, there's perhaps a misunderstood message or email, or a transaction-only meeting, the battery is starting to drain. Now, when a trust battery is highly charged, work becomes easier. Communication is almost a kind of a shorthand. We understand each other's shorthand, and we give people the benefit of the doubt. But when our trust battery of that individual is running low, then even every email can feel a bit like an attack, and every request is like a burden, yet more that somebody's putting onto us. So before we can lead a human-centric organisation, we have to know which trust batteries are running low or on empty. So hopefully you've got your piece of paper and pen. And what I'd like you to do is just list, and you're not going to have to share this, by the way, okay? Just list the 5 people that you interact with the most in your working week. And if appropriate, pick the 5 people that you would interact most with that aren't sitting next to you all week in the office, that it's more of a hybrid, digital, remote kind of relationship. And just list those 5 people's names. Okay. Now I want you to look at that list again and ask yourself, what is the current charge of the trust battery for each one of those individual relationships? So if you believe the charge is 80 to 100%, a green charge, then you will feel that you really do get each other. You're on the same wave level, and that you can be quite direct with them when necessary. And they know that you have always got their back. If it's an amber, that's 40 to 70% charge. Then it's more a functional but polite relationship that you have. And you tend to kind of stick to the processes, the script kind of thing, the corporate kind of line. And there's no real spark, no real connection there between you, that excitement, that kind of spark that we can feel when we kind of really do get one another. And then red, that's when our battery falls below 40%. And interactions feel hard, they feel heavy. You always double check an email before you send it. You always think things through before talking to them, because you're wondering, you're worried how they'll react to it. So just put a colour, red, amber or green, at the side of each person's name. Okay, as I say, I don't want you to share names or anything like that. But what I'd just like to get is try and gauge a kind of the temperature of the room, if you like. So just type in chat kind of which perhaps colour surprised you the most in one of those or more of those relationships. And did you actually realise, until you've stopped and thought about it in these terms, that, perhaps you've got some relationships that, are critical kind of relationships, but they are sitting in that red or amber zone. So just a kind of a feel for that feedback from that activity. As I say, I'm not wanting you to name names or anything. What kind of colours came through on your trust batteries? Yeah, Marge had some amber. Julie, surprised. Yeah, absolutely. Julia, yeah, okay. Excellent. Lisa, yeah. Really insightful. Thank you. Yeah. Absolutely. It just helps us to really, and I think this is something that is well worth doing. Thinking about, yes, I know we obviously have relationships with so many different people, but certainly those critical kind of relationships that we have, it's very much worth sitting down and just taking a few minutes just to think about them in these terms.